Stampers, this is Lisa with Queen Bee Creations, and I'm here today to show you how to make this really cute and simple fancy fold card for Christmas. If you were thinking that, it's getting kind of late in the year, I don't know that I have time to make Christmas cards, you might just be wrong. This is really quick and easy to do, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do it. We're going to start out with a card base in Night of Navy. This is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. So that's just going to fold in half and be our card base. For the inside of the card, I have a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of Whisper White. And then I have used our Stitched Shapes Framelit dies. And these come in a wonderful set because they've got ovals, circles, and squares. And they all layer one inside of each other and have the stitching built into the die. So when I cut this out of our Soft Sky cardstock, you can see it put the stitching in for me already. And these also layer wonderfully with our layered circles, layered ovals, and layered squares. So you can incorporate a straight edge without the stitching and the scalloped edge and create all sorts of combinations. But I just did the largest of the squares in the stitched, and then I found a small layering square that cut it to fit just inside, and I did that on my Big Shot. What looks confusing here is how we do the fold over, and it's not as hard as it seems. All I did was I measured over 1 inch from the edge, and you can either use the bottom of the mat, or you can score it on your trimmer. I mean, there's all sorts of things that you can do. But we're basically going to fold this edge over just like that. Now, when I did this in class, people were all freaked out about I need to be exactly at a right angle, and what are the measurements here and what are the measurements there. And so I just had done a little simple, I cut a triangle that size, and I had them lay that triangle on top of here and then lay it in our Stampin' trimmer. And then they just ran the trimmer down the edge. It makes for a much nicer, smoother edge, but I wasn't too worried about it because, yeah, there's a little bit of a wrinkle here and it's not a real smooth edge, but we're covering it up. I mean, it's gonna go away real easy. So anyway, I can give you the measurements if you wanna know exactly where those score marks need to go. But I'm just gonna go ahead and keep going, and I'm gonna do this with the Tin of Tags stamp set, and I'm going to pull out the Snowflake and the Spread Some Christmas Cheer. And so I'm just going to pull out those stamps and mount them on the clear blocks. Nice and simple. And then I just used the Night of Navy ink pad and just stamped my snowflakes. And I'm doing Night of Navy on top of Night of Navy, so it's just kind of an accent, it gives a little bit of a hint, almost a watermark effect, I guess. And if I wanted one more there, we'll just stamp off the edge. Oh, and then I'm going to also use the snowflake for the inside. And just do alternating corners. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the inside of my card. Using our Tombow liquid multi-glue. Usually I use snail. Ooh, whoa. But I just figured to give you an alternate, I'm going to show you how I use the glue. Now obviously this is a little more than I would have used right there, as it kind of oozed out on me when I opened it. But the thing about the liquid glue is it gives you some wiggle room. So when you go and place it, your snail usually adheres right away and you're stuck. Wherever it landed, that's where it's going to stay. this liquid glue, as you can see, is allowing me to wiggle it around and decide exactly where I want it to go. Now, if you worry, oh, you know, I got a little bit on the back, it's a bit of a boo-boo, don't worry about it. We have an adhesive remover. It's like a little eraser that you can just rub against this and it'll pull that right off. You want to make sure you have one of those in your arsenal. They are fabulous. Oh, and then for the greeting, I'm going to go ahead and use this little square in the middle. And then I'm going to pop that up on some dimensionals. We're going to center this in the middle here. And then when I go to adhere it to my card, what I'm going to want to do is kind of find out about where I want it to go. I'll probably line up the corners. Make sure that this corner lines up here, or that corner lines up there. And then I'm only going to put adhesive on the bottom half of this. So when I come back to my liquid glue, I'm going to look at where you have it. I want it from that corner to that corner. So and you don't need very much of this glue. A little bit goes a long way, which is great. And you just hold it down for a second and then it sticks. And then I'm also going to put a little bit under here. And hold that down. And there you have it. There's a nice and simple, yet a little bit fancy Christmas card. I hope you like it. If you have any questions or need any of the, like I said, the measurements, links to purchase these items in my store, they'll be on my blog, queenbeecreations.net. Thank you so much. Bye.